Hi, and welcome to Livestream. Okay. All right. So, as you guys can see, today's topic is Bitcoin. And yesterday, if you look at the recent candle yesterday, we see that we have reached the all-time high. So if we look at this level here, we have tested this all-time high. And based on our data analysis that we've performed at the start of this month, we were holding Bitcoin for a month now. So we entered at this level right here, and now we're exiting here. So theoretically, I could close this position today or tomorrow, but I decided that I'm going to set a take profit at this level where it seems that price is reversing. So I'm just hoping for price to retrace a little bit to test this level one more time, but based on the strategy that we develop, I can close it either today or tomorrow anytime I want. So I think it would be a good idea to maybe look again at the analysis that we performed, so you guys can understand the reason why we went into a long position on Bitcoin. And so I believe that I was streaming that in September. So here we have an analysis on Bitcoin over the past 10 years. So I'm going to start my Jupyter analysis here. And what you can see here is just the notebook extracting some OHSC data from MetaTrader 5. And what we find out is that over the past 10 years, 9 out of 10 times, Bitcoin always closed, always increased in October. So based on this data that we see here, I have decided to open a long position Bitcoin as well at the start of the month. And so we see that on the 1st of October, I have opened a long position on Bitcoin. And now we are looking into some exit opportunity. And yeah, so the profits look very promising. So I'm hoping that we will close it at this take profit. And I think I do have some kind of mental stop loss somewhere in my head. So maybe we can just put a stop loss somewhere below this low. So first I need to set a stop loss here, and then I will if price retraces too much, I will just set a stop loss around this level. So at least we've locked in 638 euro, which is guaranteed now, and that is basically the entire idea behind the Bitcoin trade. So yeah, this is a back test. How it would look if you went long in Bitcoin in October every year. So over the past 10 years, this is the profit curve. And now this year would also add some very nice profits as well. So yeah, so I'm just gonna let this trade running. So now we have some defined zones. Maybe I'm actually just gonna put this take profit just slightly closer here, but in the big picture, right, these adjustments in take per stop loss do not matter that much, as the entire profit was made mainly over the entire month. So yeah, so that's great. And with that, I think yeah, nothing else to say about Bitcoin. So what we can do now is we can look at other strategies that we have developed and see, what is coming up now. So I'm just going to open a file that I've shared with my members on Discord. And so currently we have some ongoing strategies, right? So we still are trading the US 100 momentum trading bot, which is basically a momentum strategy on the US 100. This trade uh, this is basically done, and now we are looking for a swing strategy on the S&P 500 in November. So maybe I can try to run an analysis on the S&P 500 and explain why we are going long in November. So if I run this analysis for the S&P 500, and now we scroll down here, we see that one second, the analysis is still running. We see that the S&P 500 showed very good performance in November, so we are basically just trying to apply the same logic for Bitcoin, but in November. So maybe I can also talk about the US 100 momentum strategy. So a quick update on that. So if we just filter by US 100, we can see that it was not performing that well this month. So we see more losses than profits. But yesterday we closed a very nice profit on the US 100. So maybe let me show you the trade from yesterday. So here I just need to open US Tech. And here on the US Tech, if you look at yesterday's trade, here we have our bullish momentum candle right here, and after close of that candle, the trading bot decided to. Now we have trailed the the bullish movement and exited at the end of the trading session, so that closed a profit of 87 euro. So currently, after closing this trade, so we still don't know what the result can be, but let's just look at the results for this current month. As you can see, also I have the results on my live stream, in the bottom panel visible. So but let's just export the MT5 statement so we can see that MT5. So currently we're minus 266 euro, but with the Bitcoin trade with at least 600 euro in profit locked, we are looking at some net profit of 400 euro this month. Okay, so now I guess this was just a quick summary on the Bitcoin trade, so we can now proceed with our new Jupyter notebook that we were coding this week. So this I believe could be very interesting for you. So what we have here is if we open our lab.adjtrades.com, and by the way guys, for those of you who are currently watching the stream, you can also test it out yourself. So if you go follow this link that I'm going to show you, you guys can also have a look at it as well. So I'm currently providing free the access for free. So for anyone who wants to check it out on my Discord channel, you guys can try lab.adjtrades.com, and I think to provide the link I need to provide the HTTPS, so it's clickable. So let's try that. And yeah, so so lab.adjtraders, what's the difference between lab and in my current pie chart where I'm sharing my code right now? So if you look at PyCharm, I share all of my code on GitHub, and you guys can download the code, from GitHub and code with it yourself. And what I'm currently working on is a different environment, or like a solution where it is much easier and accessible for you guys to start backtesting without needing to install PyCharm and Python and things such as all the dependencies, and MetaTrader 5, of course. So instead of having the need to set up all of that, what you guys can do is you would receive login credentials to this platform, and then after logging into that platform, you would then receive access to this environment here. So for example, let's say I want to run a backtest that you can find in our GitHub repository. And one second. Right, and after look, yeah, after, let's say that we want to copy the Bitcoin analysis that we have here in our PyCharm IDE, and then run this in our Jupyter Lab. So that we can try. And so here I can try to copy one of my backtests, which is BTC by month. So actually I can try to copy that to my Jupyter lab. And 1 second, let's do like that. Right. It seems that I cannot upload like that. Instead, let me try to upload new file like that, and I will open BTC by month. So now we have our Jupyter notebook uploaded onto our Jupyter lab. So again, this is all running in the browser, in the cloud, so you guys don't have to install anything. And there are some changes, right? So now we are no longer working with MetaTrader 5. So how it works is we have, let me just clarify how everything is set up. So we have our MT5 platform, which is this platform here. This is provided by a broker, and here you see the symbols, right? You can place orders and so on and see the historical price data. So MT5, it provides the data, right? So we have MT5 data inside this box. And then what we're doing with Python is we are then transferring this data into our notebook, right? So the notebook is this thing right here. So this is our notebook where we are doing all the data analysis. So using Python, we are then working in our notebook environment. And here we are using Python, to run pandas, to run all the visualization, so anything that is related to the backtesting and so on. So now with the new system, right, this part is actually no longer necessary, and all you have is this notebook and the MT5 data. Everything else is running in the background. So for example, I can remove this part, and I'm just going to import uh, the libraries that we need. And for a backtester, we will need OHLC history and our backtester. And so the different project that or the library that we're using is ATJ Algo Trading. So from ATJ Algo Trading dot backtester, we are importing our backtester. So for now, we just need this. So we can try to run this import, and also what we're going to do is we are going to request the OHS data. Hi Martin, nice to have you on stream. So yeah, great to have you here. I made some big improvements with the test request and OHLC. So yeah, it's a great floating PNL. So I guess for the past few days, Bitcoin has been really great, and I'm looking to close this position soon. I just mark some stops and they take profits. They're not that important, right? But if for example we can close at this all-time high, I think this would be a good target, right? So I think I could close it like right now, but yeah, let's just leave it going and see how to do. So here what we have here is we have our test request. So here we can extract the OHSC data from our MT5 server that we've coded last month. So in the sample backtest, I'm going to now import this part here. So what we can actually do is I could also write a function. So that could be like a client function for the MT5 server, and we can run that add that to our ATJ package later. So here we can, for example, do get OHLC, where we can add the symbol, the time frame, and the start date time and the end date time as the input. So here we're defining a function, and so this part here would then be part of this function, and we would just return the OHLC df. So there are some small changes. Some small changes with the code, so this still needs some improvements or and some documentation, but that is what we're actually going to do today. So I'm going to show you guys how to work with this new solution, and I'm also planning to create a new data source that would actually be something like a MySQL database, if you remember. So now let's try to run this function. So ohlcdf is equal to, and we just call this get ohlc function, and hopefully we get the result that we need. So I'm going to run this, and of course I need to import requests to run, yeah, to call hd request on the web, and also I need to import pandas. So import pandas as pd. Okay, so now we have OHSC data. Again, it requires no MT5 platform, it requires no installation of you know Python on your own PC. It is all running in the cloud, and here we have the OHSC data. And now that we are able to extract the OHSC data, this part here is actually no longer relevant, so we don't need this. And let me just save it just to make sure that I have everything saved, and let's run the analysis on BTC/USD on the daily time frame, which is D1. So we will try to export data for the past 10 years. And now if we run this analysis again, we can run all our backtesters and anything else in our Jupyter lab. So that is great. So for example, how would you guys use it if you wanted to code in this environment as well? So uh, actually what we can do is we can simply just try to log in with a new user, and you would receive your own tutorial folders, sample backtests, and then some requirement text. So, and then you would have your own project folder where you can run your own backtests. So I guess today what I'm going to do is, yeah, let's also have a look at the S&P 500. So it's the US 500 here, and see what this analysis is doing. So I'm going to restart everything, and then we are going to run this. Okay, so now we're running, exporting some data for US 500, and here we are going to get similar results. And as you can see here, November here is, very profitable. So then we have our backtester here, and I think this backtester we actually wanted to buy in November, right? So here we also need to make some adjustments in the backtester, and then we would close the trade the next month. So yeah, I can actually also remove this section here theoretically, and or if the month is December, then we close the trade. So now let's try to run our backtester again, and this would be the profit if you invested in the S&P 500 in November. All right, so I guess let's see what we can do today. So I think to start, I think we should create something like a shared folder, or this shared folder I'm actually going to rename to how to, right? So this how to folder, or maybe get started. I think it, yeah, let's try to get started maybe. I think that might sound a bit better. So this is the get started. So in get started, we will create a tutorial folder, and then we can have some sample backtests so you guys can see how we can run a certain amount of backtests. So in tutorials, I wonder what we can do. I think maybe let's rename this to tutorials or documentation. So in documentation, we will work on necessary things that are required for that are required to start working with Jupyter Lab. And I think the best thing I can do is I will create some notebooks. So with the first notebook, let's create a file that is called introduction. Okay, so here we have the introduction, and let's here write some code or some markdown. So here let's see what we can do. So here I would create the title. So welcome to ATJ Traders. ATJ Traders Super Hub. Alright, so this Jupyter Hub, you have access to things such as the Python environment, the Algo trading package, and so on. And then in the second documentation, I think I can create a second notebook. In the second notebook, I'm going to create it's a so we can talk about the ATH Algo trading package. So this one would contain all the example code that is going to be used for the backtest and the data visualization. And I think for now that should be enough, or theoretically I could put that everything in the same file. I think that also might be easier. So let's just start with the introduction, and then we have some sample backtests here. And I think a good example for sample backtests would be just to simply, copy some of our old files that we have here. So if you remember, in the beginning, I created something like a Bollinger backtest and an SMA backtest. So I think that could be used, for the sample backtest here. And here I could also rename that. And I think a good thing to do would be also, to maybe add some comments and explain, what everything is doing. So maybe we should start with the SMA backtest and, then elaborate on that further. So I'm hoping that I can just upload that here. Unfortunately, it doesn't work like that. But maybe if I open this in the Explorer, so maybe we can just try to copy that from here to here. Right. So I guess, yeah, we'd have to open the Explorer and then add this backtest here. So the SMA backtests. So again, what is the difference between the old version where we, code from PyCharm, and what is the difference between the new Jupyter Hub? So again, we don't need MetaTrader 5 because with the MetaTrader 5 backtest, we need to connect to MetaTrader 5, have some login credentials, and so on. But to run a backtest, something like a simple moving average backtest, now in the Jupyter Notebook, we want to use this function here, get OHLC. And this is basically just a REST API request to one of my servers that is able to return the OHLC data. So I think maybe how we should start is maybe we should implement this get OHLC inside our ATJ Algo Trading package. As you can see, ATJ Algo Trading is a library that has been coded by us, and you can also find this on our GitHub, and it comes with various functions and classes that help us with backtesting and data visualization. And so if I open ATJ Algo Trading lib and open that here, what we'll find is our backtester here. So this backtester comes, with some orders, some traits, some visualization of the backtest, and some analysis. And it is also able to, create some price figures and so on. So I think so inside the ATJ Algo Train class, we are going to create an init file, and I think the init is here. And inside ATJ Algo Trading, we can try to import. So maybe from ATJ Algo Trading, import backtester. So if we, for example, create a function define get OHLC, so this function retrieves the open, high, low, close. It would then, it would then retrieve the data, and then I'd have to copy that function here. So when we call this function will be part of the ATJ Algo Trading package, and then theoretically what I could do is from ATJ Algo Trading, I could import get OHLC, for example, right? So if I define that here, we could, for example, import get OHLC, and then, for example, from the same one, we could also import the backtester and so on. So I think I'm going to change the the structure of the package by doing that, and that would look a bit nicer when we are going to provide that. So here I can also import, so I can, for example, create like a backtester file. So maybe I could make it a bit easier because we have the backtester here, and then we have to get OHLC, because the get OHLC can actually be used in I'm not thinking about what is the best structure to do it, but maybe in the beginning we can actually just just define the function here, so we can, so when we call get OHLC, we can actually write it here. So I'm keeping it better. So from ATJ AutoTrain.backtester, we import backtester and get OHLC. So let's do it like that. And I will copy this function, right? So you see, guys, that we have this IP, statically defined. So this is not good practice in code, because maybe the server may change, right? Or the database may change or whatever. But just for testing purposes, I'm going to provide this IP address, even though it's not recommended. So maybe in the future you can specify this URL through environment variables, or just add a direct connection to a database, which I'm going to do, of course, in the upcoming days. But I'm just going to, for now, copy this function and then upload it again to PyPy, so we can use it from PyPy. So we have the orders class, we have the backtester class here, and then down here we have some other functions we can use, which is create OHLC figure, create price figure, and then here the name would be here, the symbol. And then we have the eval backtest. Oh, by the way, Martin, you mentioned that I made a mistake in this function where we're evaluating the backtest. So I can, fix fix the issue that you have mentioned. So of course we need to import requests. As you can see, I'm already also like specifying, the PIO templates default is dark, and maybe what we can do is, yeah, actually let's just keep like that. Okay. Or actually, I'm thinking that maybe we can run the import inside the function. I don't know if it's a good habit, but let me check running imports inside a function. Okay, I guess it doesn't matter. So it was the win rate. Okay, let's check the win rate and see what we can fix there. All right, so the win rate is actually count profit rates divided by the count total trades, and that is true. So to fix that, I'm just going to, can just divide that. I guess we can do it like that, since we have the numbers already. Or we could just take the total amount of trades, and to get the total amount of trades, we can just take the data frame with the trades. So maybe just, maybe df.shape 0, and that way we get, the total number of trades. Yeah, Bibani, just message. It has been 15 minutes. You're removing up and down. What a waste of time. I'm very sorry that you feel that way. So I guess see you later. Okay. Now we get the OHLC dataset, and yeah, so let's upload that to PyPy. Okay, so we need version 13, and then yeah, we can upload that, and then it will be added to our backtester. So I guess we can now, delete our old packages, the version 12. So I'm going to delete those, and now, oh, yeah, so now we can try the new distribution to PyPy. Okay, so the new version has been uploaded, but then it seems that there's a warning, retry with verbose option for more details. There is something forbidden. Invalid. Oh. So maybe let's check again our API token. All right, at least the package is done and can be built, but unfortunately PyPy does not accept the upload. And maybe the issue is with my configurations, because my API token might have expired And I think this might be the problem. So I'm actually going to check. Okay, I see the issue now. And I believe that it's the same issue like yesterday. So it keeps uploading the API token to the XML file uh, with the environment variable. So I think the issue is that I shouldn't be saving my PyPy API token in the environment variable. So I always did that, right? So now the token is expired, so it doesn't matter. But if you check this here, right, this is like my password to upload that. So I think instead of always copying this API token, as you can see, I'm adding that in the operating system through Twine. We'll have to change that. So again, I'm going to log into PyPy. As usual, we're going to I'm going to create a new API token. Now I'm just going to save the credentials probably in just some text file, and then I'm gonna upload the password through a different method. So for now, thank you for being patient, and I'm going to create a new API token. Okay. So the token has been created. I'm just going to save it somewhere so I can use it in the future. And this time, uh, instead of providing a password, I'm just going to run the upload like this, and then I'm just gonna copy the token when it will ask me to do that. And maybe I think I should also remove the username. I'm not sure. Currently it's being uploaded, but it's taking some time. Let's try that like this actually. So hopefully there's not. All right, so let's continue now with our estimate backtest. I think I'm still having some issues here, and we are not yet able to fix that, unfortunately. So it seems that maybe the best thing to do is if I just upload it off screen like that while adding the API token. I think I'm going to do that. So now I'm just going to copy the password. Okay, so everything's great. So now our new distribution is ready for ATG Algo trading. So we have version 13 out now, and we can try to upgrade that, and hopefully when we import get OHLC, we will get our open, high, low, close data. So now if I go to a terminal and try to write pip install ATJ Algo trading uh, and specify upgrade, maybe it will now upgrade to the most recent version. Or if we want to specify, because version 13 is out now, right? So we can specify 0.0.13. So now we run this, successfully install ATG Trading 0.0.13. Great. So now we successfully, imported that. So if I restart all of my projects here, so let's open our sample backtests, and yeah, this is my SMA backtest here. So I'm going to close this. So I believe that now what we can do is if I run this backtester here, and again, we can import ATJ from ATJ Algo Trading .backtester import, and I'm just going to import get OHLC, create price fig, and then later evaluate backtest. So evaluate backtest, this is something we can work on, and then as Martin said, we can then try to fix the SMA crossovers. So we are doing an SMA crossover on USD, since 2023. Of course, we don't need MT5 initialize anymore, and because it's the daily time frame, how about we just reduce it to H1. So we are computing the SMA period 20, and let's try to run this. And because we are not using get OHC history but just get OHC, the time frame that we're using is no longer like MT5, right? MT5, we say MT5 the time frame. In the new version, the time frame is just equal to H1. It is a string. So here I'm just specifying the time frame, and I'm hoping that now we get some result. So it's great. Our MT5 REST server is working because we have response 200. And here we have our open high low close data with the simple moving averages. So these are, this is a simple moving average, and this is the OHLC chart. Okay, so in this section we are computing the signal, basically just a signal where we should buy or sell. So if the open price is above SMA 20, then our function returns buy. Otherwise, if the price is below the SMA 20, it means that we should sell. So now that we run this function and we have computed the signal column here, and here in this on bar function, we are basically just specifying the trading logic. So to explain what's happening here is that we create a function on bar that is able to process trades, and also using the trade and order classes to open trades or close trades. And then in this section, so basically if there are no open trades, right, and if our signal is buy, then we send an order to open a trade on our symbol with a specified volume, and the signal is buy. And for the other scenario, when we want to go short, so we want to sell the HLC data, we would go sell. And then the exit strategy for buy and sell orders. So if we are already in a position, we want to sell when we want to buy. We want to close our buy position when we get a sell signal, and we want to close our sell positions when we get a buy signal. Now in this section, we can run the backtest. So the starting balance is 10,000. The currency is 10,000 USD. The exchange rate is 1 because we are trading US dollars, and Euro USD has the quote currency in USD. And then we set the commission to $7 per 100,000 units. So now we can run the backtester with these settings, and so now trades are being generated. So we just have to wait until the star finishes, and once all the trades are generated, we can then plot the P&L chart of our SMA, across our strategy. So we see the strategy is not profitable. So here we have a losing curve, and what we can also try to look at is the visualization of the backtest. So we can also have a look at the trades that have been opened. So let's wait until this backtester figure is done, and then you can try to look at all the individual trades. So this might take some time because let's have a look how many trades we have. We have 1,039 trades in total. So I think I might make it shorter. So by specifying num trades, we can have a look at maybe the past 20 trades, so we don't have to wait for too long. So I'm going to interrupt this cell, and I'm going to run it again, and hopefully it won't take that much time. So now you can see this is the historical data on EURUSD, and now if you look at some example backtests, we can see how the strategy is performing on this historical data set. So red line is basically a loss and the green line is a profit. So for example, this candle closed above the SMA 20, so we decided to go into a buy position, but then we have this bearish candle here that closed below the SMA, and then we close the position. And then after that, because the red candle is below the SMA period 20, it opened a sell position, and eventually it closed when the candle closed above again. So this is an example of the SMA crossover strategy. Here we have a very nice streak of profits. So this is where we would see a very good period, but unfortunately this strategy is not winning. But this is just a quick example how this strategy could work. So this I'm going to delete because it has nothing to do with our current Jupyter setup. And what we can also do is we can also run the evaluate backtest function. So in this section, I think evaluate backtest, if we have look at it, I think what I should do is I should just add evaluate backtest as a method of the backtester class. But for now, this section here will run a very quick analysis of the biggest profit, biggest loss table, of the trades, and some analysis, and here we see buy orders were more profit than sell orders, and so on. So let me try to run this again and see what result we get. So we see that buy orders were profitable, but sell orders were losing. So in total, strategy is losing. And we also have some analysis based on the day of week. So for example, Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays are bad, but Thursdays seem to be performing very well on the SMA strategy. And then we have some error. So if we check at the drawdown figure, we see that PX line, it cannot draw a chart with this data frame here. And again, it seems to be a bug on the package side. So if we open the backtester and evaluate the backtest, which we find right here, yes, unfortunately, the drawdown section is not working. So DF drawdown is profit cumulative minus DF current max, and I believe that this part here is actually causing the issue. So X is the close time, and then in the y-axis we have profit cumulative, which is here, and then the current maximum. So I'd have to check the reason why it's not working, but yeah, so essentially this is how you would run a backtest. So I believe that this was today just a quick showcase of today's Jupyter Lab. So guys, if any of you is interested to try this new solution, I'd be very happy to guide you through that, and I'm going to work on this get started documentation. So by the end of this week, all of you guys who are interested, just let me know. You'll receive your own login credentials. So basically, for example, I'm just going to log out. So if you go to lab.adjtraders.com, you will receive your own login credentials, and then you would be able to access this notebook where you can run your own data analysis. And so you would have your own dedicated space, and you could also share work with various backtests and so on. So here again, I'm going to work and get started. We'll get all the sample backtests and the documentation, and then in my project, uh, yeah, you'll have all your files that you need. So as a result, everything that I've done in the Algo Trading educational channel, I'm going to migrate that to the Jupyter Lab. So all the code is directly accessible and executable in the cloud. So that's the current plan. And maybe what I can do is maybe let's just write a very simple backtest with the new setup that we have. So I'm going to create a notebook, and with this notebook I'm going to rename it, and let's say that we want to trade some type of breakout. Okay, so today I'm going to show you an example how we code a breakout strategy on with this new environment. So we can do something like a breakout backtest, and this will be very similar to the DE40 strategy that we have coded previously. Let's have a look at the current Bitcoin trade. So we are currently 715 profit. Yeah, so let's proceed with backtesting the breakout trade. So to start, we just import all the functions that we need. So we will import from ATJ Algo Trading. We will import get OHLC. So this function basically just retrieves the OHLC data. Of course, we need to import from the backtester folder. So from ATJ Algo Trading dot backtester import get OHLC. So we have no module named ATJ Algo Trading, and that is interesting. Let me try to restart everything if that works. And I'm going to save this one here, because as you can see, it is working here, but it's not working here. Maybe it has something to do with let me copy this section, and that is very strange. Alright, so import backtester. So this seems to be working, so that's not a problem. But when I try to import get OHLC, let's try to import this. This also seems to be working. So I think I just made some mistake that I haven't seen. So probably it's a typo. So let's just keep it as it is. And let's say step number one, right? So step number one is we want to import historical data. So to import historical data, we need to call get OHLC, and OHLC takes 4 parameters as an input. So let's say we want to run a backtest on, you can again say Euro USD, for example. Here we set the time frame where we set it to the H1 time frame, and then we also need to specify some start date time and some end date time. So so we will need to import date time from date time. So from date time import date time. We run it like this, and so our start date time, this is the start date time where we're importing the OHLC data. We need to specify to date time, and let's say we want to extract data for the current month. Panya, go down. Oh, sorry guys, my cat is on my table and now he's not. Good boy. So so our start date time is set to let's say we want to run a backtest from October 1st, and then our end date time would be today. So end dt is date time dot now. So these are our 4 input parameters that we need to extract OHLC data. So OHLC df would be equal to get OHLC, and then we need to specify the symbol, the time frame, the start date time, and then the end date time. So now if we run this function again, we get this data frame here. So now we were able to import historical data on EURUSD. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to visualize the historical data. So here I'm going to create a markdown again, and here we are going to visualize the OHLC data. So maybe what I can do instead is, so every cell is nicely structured. I will just remove this, and I'm just going to import the things that we need. So every time I'm importing something, I'm just showing you guys what exact code we need. So instead, we don't need a backtest, we just need to get OHLC. So we run this, and now to visualize the OHLC data, we will need another function. So what we can do is from ATJ Algo Trading.backtester, we have another function that is used to visualize OHLC, and to visualize the OHLC we can import create price fig, or for short create price figure. So now we want to visualize this table here. What you guys can do is our figure is equal to create price fig, and all you have to do is you have to specify the OHLC data frame. So by running this, of course I need to display the figure. So by running this, an OHLC chart will be generated. So as you can see, we have created an OHLC chart, and that's great. So now the question is, how do we visualize indicators on this chart, right? So we have simple moving averages, Bollinger Bands. If you look at the previous code, there are methods to visualize the indicators using this create price fig. So let's say we want to compute some kind of technical indicator. So for example, I'm going to compute the highs and lows for a specific period. So maybe like a 24-hour high and low that can be used for breakout trading. And so in this section, I'm going to calculate high low indicator. And to compute a high low indicator, I can just take the OHLC data frame, and I can say call it a period high, and I set the period to 24 candles, right? So I'm computing the technical indicator for 24. So period is equal to 24. So OHLC DF period high is equal to OHLC DF high. And because I want to work only with closed candles, I will shift the values by 1. and then I'm going to apply the rolling method with this period, and I want to get the maximum value. So this is the maximum value for the past 24 candles. And then if we scroll down here and we get period low, so now we can compute the low indicator using low here, and here I would compute the minimum. So if I want to display this new data frame, I can just call display OHLCDF, and then you would see this data frame here. And if you want to visualize these indicators, price fake or create price fake allows us to, pass in the indicator parameter to visualize that trade. So what we can do is we can create a new cell. So I'm going to create a new cell in this markdown. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to do that. So we are going to visualize the technical indicator, and to visualize the technical indicator we can again call create price fake, right? So we will call create price fake. We can actually just copy this function here, and I'm just going to rename to with indicator or with int. And here if we want to specify the indicator, so we just say indicator is equal to period high and then period low. And actually it's indicators. So as you can see now, I have visualized all the highs and lows for the past 24 hours. So this way we can run this indicator. So now the next thing that we can do is we can look at the breakouts, right? So we can check if the current close price is above or below the high and low for some period, and then we can try to run the backtest, try to trade that breakout. So if we go down here, we need to now identify the breakout. So here we can do find the breakouts. And to find the breakouts, all we have to check is if the current closing price is above or below this, period high or period low. So whenever we close below this price, we can or enter into a short position and maybe try, some stop loss or take profit. So to find a breakout, we can create a function define find breakout, and here we're just going to represent the row of our data frame, which is this one, as x. And what we can do is if x.close is less than our x period low, then we return bearish breakout. Okay, and then we can create another scenario, else if or elif x.close is above the period high, then we can return bullish breakout. So now we have created this function. Now we can create a new column using that function, and to do that we just say breakout type is equal to OHLCDF, and then we can just apply the function that we have just created. So here we apply the function, and then we need to specify axis is equal to 1. So axis equal to 1 basically tells pandas to apply the function row by row basis. So now if we look at the result of this, we see that we now have computed a bullish breakout type and so on. And because the problem is when we run the backtest, we don't know what the closing price is at the current point in time, I'm actually going to shift the breakout by 1 because we can't look into the future. So that is like a common issue when you run backtest. Sometimes you backtest with data that is not available at that point in time. So I'm going to shift that by 1. And now let's create a breakout strategy. So here, creating a breakout strategy. So to create a breakout strategy, we need to create something called on bar function. So a bar represents a candle right at this current point in time, and whenever we have a new row coming, that would mean that we need to process that new data and create some trading logic based on the new data received. And in one of my previous code that we have here, here's an example how an on bar function could look. So I'm just going to copy that, and line by line, I'm going to explain what it does. So on bar takes data, trades, and orders as an input. So the data represents one row at every point in time. Okay, trades is a class, so trades represents the current state of all open and closed trades. So we can always look into current open and closed trades. And orders is a class that is able to create new orders or trades. So with orders, what we have here is orders can close a trade, open a trade, modify stop loss, modify take profit. So now let's create a simple trading logic. So we are trading on EURUSD, so we are going to set the volume to 100,000 units, and basically we want to check whether we have any open trades. So the strategy logic works like this. So if there's no open trades and we have a buy signal, we want to buy. In this case, I copy the code from the SMA backtest. So instead of having a signal function here, I can just say if the breakout type is a bullish breakout and we have no open positions, then we want to buy. And so we add this logic here, and then for the other scenario, if the breakout type is bearish breakout and we don't have any open positions, then we want to sell. So this is an example how we can run this backtest, and here we can also say, okay, when do we want to close a trade? So what is the exit strategy? And I think for exit signal we can maybe skip that for now, and we can create a very simple entry and exit strategy. And what we can do is I can just apply some stop loss and take profit. So for example, let's say our stop loss is equal to our open price of the current candle plus some value, which could be, for example, 30 pips. So it could be like 0.003, for example, 0.03. And because it's a buy order, actually I have to subtract because the stop loss is always below that value, and then the take profit would be above that value. So the take profit would be our open price of the candle plus that value. And we will copy that also in the section below. So this is, for example, how we can backtest a strategy using stop loss and take profit. But for a stop loss, we need to increase +3, and then we need to decrease -3 because now it's all inverted. So the on bar function has been created, and the next thing that we have to do is we have to set up our backtester. So to set up our backtester, we're going to again we need to now import the backtester class. So here I have to change it to markdown, so so it looks a bit nicer. And now to set up the backtester, we need to set the starting balance of the account, the currency, the exchange rate, the commission, and here I am just setting all these things into this Jupyter notebook file. And so now that the backtester has been set up. We can try to run it, and as you can see, I have not imported everything I need because I run the imports only for a cell that is currently being used. So in order to also run the backtester here, so from ATJ Algo Trading, we import our backtester. It's also in the backtester folder. Okay, so now the backtester has been set up. So if we run this now, and of course OHLC is not specified, let me explain what everything is being done here. So here we are just setting the starting balance, we're setting the exchange rate, we're setting the commission for a backtester, and then the historical data is basically our data frame here, which contains open, high, low, close prices and our indicators that are being used to run the backtest. And on bar, so on bar function is basically our signal logic or backtesting logic for a strategy where we're specifying when to enter, when to exit, when the stop loss and take profit is set. Then we run the backtest. So run backtest is a function that just starts the backtest. It will generate the trades, and then the output of that will be the trades that will be generated. And as you can see, only one trade has been generated. So maybe most likely I have made a mistake somewhere, but I will try to try to find that mistake. And like before we finish, we also have some other methods inside the backtester, so we can plot the P&L, but because we have one trade, we don't see anything special here. And also we have visualize backtest, so you can also see what trades have been opened. But let's now come back to the backtester because I believe that we have made a mistake somewhere. So it's either in defining the breakout, which could be the reason why we have the problem, or maybe the take profit and stop loss values are too different. So let's see, the data set is starting only for the current month, so I believe that maybe we don't have enough data. I think that might be the problem. So let's run the backtest for the past 2 years since 2023. So I'm changing the start date time, and now I have more data here. So if I rerun everything, we should be able to see to rerun the backtest, and now we see that the backtest is running. Trades are being generated, and here we have many more trades. So as you can see, this backtester seems to be losing. So it seems that the breakout trade is not performing well. And here inside this backtester, I'm going to show you how you can check the trades inside this backtest visualizer. So we can just specify what indicators you want to see and how many trades you want to visualize, because sometimes if you visualize too many trades, that can cause problems, not problems, but it might take too much time. And if it takes too much time, then we just want to make sure the strategy is working. So here we can see that we have the backtester, and yeah, so this is what the trades look like. So we have the take profits and the stop losses, and basically we are just in a loss. I'll just ask, on what basis are strategies that you have found most success so far? I believe it's mostly like random. So whenever I backtest, I just try to, look at different properties in the market. Maybe it's momentum, it's breakout, it's reversal. Maybe if you look at the Bitcoin, backtest, maybe the time of the month or year. So for me, it's mostly all, yeah, probably just random occurrence, and over time just learn things that don't work. So when I try to look for something new, I know, for example, scalping strategies on lower time frame are much more difficult to analyze. So all of that, I believe, is potentially, yeah, uh, a factor that is accounted for finding strategies. So yeah, I think it's just trying just to look at different markets, at different properties, and eventually you will find something. So as you can see, this backtest is not very good because it's losing, right? And so knowing that, how about we just reverse it? So instead of buying, we sell and see how our strategy would perform then. Hi Martin, nice to have you back. Yeah, it depends on time trend. So I believe, yeah, most of the time I'm just lucky if I find something interesting. And I have definitely made a mistake. Probably because, yeah, I need to improve in like my backtester, because now I, inverted buy and sell, so my stop loss and take profit are not being executed correctly. So maybe in the backtester or on bar, whenever, I set stop loss and take profit at the wrong, market price, maybe it should return error, like you can't set stop loss above a buy order. Like that's not possible. But now we see that we have a profitable backtest, and on USD that's like very interesting. So whenever, uh, yeah, this is like kind of crazy, right? Whenever you have like a bullish breakout, just go reverse, and when you have a bearish breakout, you do the same, right? So that is very interesting. So here, for example, we see this candle, right, that broke above like this high or resistance zone, and then this strategy decided just to sell it here. Um, Yeah, I think I should also visualize maybe the stop loss and take profit on this chart. That could be a good improvement. But anyways, so this is an example how you would be using the ATJ trading library for backtesting. And so here in the last part, I can also use evaluate backtest, and then down here in evaluate backtest, I will also need to import it. So in the last section, I'm going to create another markdown, and here I'm going to write evaluate the backtest. So of course I will need to import this function because evaluate backtest has not been imported yet. So from ATJ Algo Trading dot backtester, we import evaluate backtest. So this backtester takes some trades into account. So we take bt.trades as the input of this function, and now we run this, we get a very simple overview how the trades have performed. And on USD we see that buy and sell orders have been performing quite well this year. And yeah, we still have this bug where we're trying to create a drawdown figure, but as I said, we'd have to get into it again. And yeah, I think we still need to like improve the layout, make it look nicer. Maybe we can also try to make like some interactive cells where we can analyze that a bit further. But that is essentially how you can work in this new Jupyter Lab environment. Um, so Martin, I guess you have access to this Jupyter Lab already. So I will try to set up your environment as soon as possible, so you can just log in, and then you'd get access to get started folder where all those example files will be ready for you. So guys, anyone of you who is still watching, you of course are invited to test this new environment as well, as I want to be like the main focus for like the algorithmic trading. And when I'm going to teach you guys in the future, this would be the place, because we can like unify all the packages and everything would be on the same place. So that's pretty much it. So again, feel free to check out lab.atjtrades.com, and if you want to be granted access to this application, just send me an email please, and I'm just going to provide my email here, which is cactu@atjtraders.com. So once you send me the email, I'm just going to return the user credentials, and I'm going to provide you with some tutorials, documentation, and sample backtests that you can use for yourself. And then, whenever you run these backtests and find something interesting, the next step would be to write a trading bot in MT5, which is, a different thing. But once you have a backtesting strategy, then writing trading bot is pretty much easy because the logic is already clearly defined. So yeah, so guys, thank you very much for coming to the stream. I will be working on the documentation sample backtests, and I'd be very happy for anyone to send me an email who'd like to test out this new trading lab. So thank you and bye bye.